In 1 Kings, there's a story where the prophet Elijah is told to go stand on a mountain and wait for the presence of God to pass by. Elijah does that, and when he gets up there, Scripture says a great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks. Now, I think most of us would think that if the mountain was being torn apart right before our eyes, and God had told us He was planning to visit, we would think that was a pretty clear indication of His arrival. But the story immediately clarifies that this wasn't that. God wasn't in the wind. So Elijah keeps hanging out, and then an earthquake hits. Again, that would seem like a pretty spectacular entrance for the God of the universe. But Scripture clarifies again, God wasn't in the earthquake. At this point, Elijah must be a little freaked out. And if the mountain-crushing winds and spontaneous earthquake weren't enough, Scripture says that suddenly there was fire. It doesn't say what kind of fire, but if there was just a hurricane and an earthquake, my guess is that it wasn't a little campfire. It probably was an explosion of fire. But again, God wasn't in the fire. Instead, after the fire had passed, Elijah heard a whisper, and the whisper was God. Of course, we know from the rest of Scripture that God can level mountains, and He can make the earth tremble, and He is an all-consuming fire. But He is also the whisper, and that's a good thing for us because we need both. We need both a mighty arm and a gentle hand, and remarkably, that's who Jesus is. Welcome to Session 5 of Who is Jesus?